Chris, you understand this space very well. We knew this deal was going to happen. We were just waiting for it to be sealed. Is this good for Salesforce? Is this good for Slack?
Thanks for having me on the program. Yeah, I think overall this is a really great deal, and as Abigail mentioned, Salesforce continues to execute their playbook. They've grown into being a highly diversified cloud company, and their past acquisitions like MuleSoft and Tableau have really started to pay off and are delivering results. And now they're taking on even bigger news and a bigger challenge by acquiring Slack and entering a market that previously they had not been a part of. And that market has some very large competitors. And that overall, I think, though, it's a really good move on both of their parts.
Now, Slack has been doing incredibly well as an independent company, and especially well in the midst of the pandemic. Do you see Slack on a continued upward trajectory, or would some of that growth, stop accelerating as we come out of the pandemic, as vaccines are successful, and as they continue to compete with Microsoft?
Yeah, I think they could definitely have an opportunity to continue to accelerate their growth rate, especially now with Salesforce helping them and putting the entire Salesforce kind of sales engine behind the company. And Salesforce already has relationships with all of these enterprises that they're trying to help. So that's going to be a big advantage and a big win. And probably part of the reason why you see the premium that was paid is they think that they can increase the growth rate, and they know Slack has a really good competitive product and offering, and they believe together they can grow even faster and generate a really nice return.
How big a competitive threat is Microsoft at the moment with their Teams product, and with Teams being a gateway to other Microsoft products?
Yeah, it's definitely a very real competitor. I was actually at Google when we were competing against Microsoft in the communication and collaboration space, and it's very hard. They're very good at what they do. The Teams product, you could argue if it's comparable to Slack exactly, but the way they offer it as a bundled solution, as a communication solution with email and calendar and everything else, it's a really competitive, hard competitive battle. And that's why I think it makes sense to team up with someone like Salesforce, where you can now get some synergies between the two, both from a sales perspective, but also from a product perspective, and they can work together to deliver more innovation and be more competitive in the market overall.
I'm reminded of Microsoft buying LinkedIn back in the day and how big a deal that was. What do you make of the personalities? Obviously, Mark Benioff has a big personality. Stuart Butterfield has a big personality. He's very vocal on social media. How well do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like it can definitely work. I feel they've both. Stuart has always seemed to be very flexible, and the whole Slack story, how they pivoted to what they're doing. It feels like they've always been flexible and kind of just focused on continuing to build a more valuable company. And Mark has obviously proven that they can make even large acquisitions like Tableau, which was $15.7 billion, I believe, very successful. That was a well-established company, and it seems like that MuleSoft and some of these other ones like Velocity are going to be really continuing to grow, and a lot of those leaders are still helping out. So I think they'll find a way to make it work.